The South African Federation of Trade Unions plans to use court to force outgoing Eskom CEO Andre de Ruyter to reveal the name of a minister that he mentioned in a television interview. In the interview, de Ruyter says that the ANC uses Eskom as a feeding trough, alleging that the governing party allows acts of corruption to take place at the power utility. Saftu are planning to lay charges against de Ruyter. For more, we're now joined via Zoom by Saftu's General Secretary, Zwelinzima Vavi. Thanks so much indeed for joining us. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you very much for inviting us. Tough times. We load shedded. We're now using every means to try to connect with you, but I hope that it won't break.
All right. So you want to take de Ruyter to court. Which section of the law are you relying on?
No, we've done first step. The first step is that we've written today to him to say you've made these serious allegations in a television interview. We want you to back them up. We want you to sign a sworn affidavit to say Mr. or Minister so-and-so on this particular day in the presence of the following people told me that when there are acts of corruption, I must be tolerant and that the regulations must allow a little bit of eating. That's the first thing. We want that concrete. Secondly, you must say to us, look, this is how R1 billion is being stolen from Eskom. He says that every month R1 billion is gone. And he makes a lot of other related allegations. We want concrete evidence on that too. We're doing so not to be in opposition or because we don't believe what we say. He's potentially a whistleblower, but he must come forward. He mustn't just make allegations on television interview and then disappear and tell us that he's gone overseas. He must come forward with concrete information and evidence. If he comes with that evidence, then South Africa will know that perhaps one of the reasons why we are now at this current rate of being load-shedded is because of that stealing. And that is because Eskom have been made a feeding trough, he says, by the ANC as the movement. That we will know. It will then mean that we must mobilize and for the president to dismiss those ministers. If the president refuses, we must mobilize that the president himself must be forced to step down, because we cannot afford such acts of treason against the people to be tolerated in any manner. That's the first point. But if it doesn't come with that information, and we've given him until Friday, the 3rd, if it doesn't come forward with the concrete information, sworn affidavits, and to say, here is the minister's name, then we will lay a charge in the nearest police station from Saftu head office, and the charge will be in line with Section 4 of BRECA, the anti-corruption legislation that we all operate under. That Section 4 of BRECA says every one of us has a legal obligation to report acts of corruption and to go to the nearest police station with evidence every time we become witness. We know and we even suspect that corruption is being undertaken. Then we will go there and say, Mr. Andre de Ruyter, we've given him whole 7 days to provide us with affidavits. He's not providing it for whatever the reason. We are asking you now, police officials, to arrest him and to bring him to book for issuing such a reckless statement without him having backing of in terms of evidence. So that's the process that we're embarking upon.
If he takes this to the police and lays charges and reports the matter, will that be enough for you to step back and allow the process in the hands of the authorities?
Absolutely. We will then become friends. with him. We will say, well done, you are now a whistleblower, and a whistleblower will be protected, and the president will, and the minister of police will have an obligation to protect him as a whistleblower. We all know, and the president made this point himself when he was doing the State of the Nation address, that the country must do more to protect whistleblowers in South Africa. And because the experience that we see every day is that if you come forward with such sensitive information, you become the victim. And the persons that are alleged to be doing wrongdoing end up being celebrated as heroes, and when they get elected in their political parties and all of that. We've got to change that. A whistleblower must be the whistleblower, there must be protection, and we must improve, in particular in protecting their income, because what follows after a person has blown the whistle is that management immediately dismisses those people. Before you know it, a whistleblower lost his house or her house, the children are out of school, the cars are being dispossessed. If all that happened and it gets publicized, the message to the public, in particular to the workers, is the one that says, if you dare blow the whistle against the wrongdoing in any of the state-owned enterprise, or even in the private sector, for that matter, you will end up being a victim like so-and-so, so-and-so, or worst of all, you will end up dead like Duogaran, who was killed 2 years ago here in Gauteng for blowing the whistle about the rate of corruption at Tembisa Hospital.
If I'm hearing your language clearly, you're almost suggesting, because of who he was and the position that he held, making statements like what he made has serious gravity and repercussions, and as a result, he has to be brought to account for those statements in a way that perhaps a lesser employee might.
Absolutely. This is a group chief executive officer of one of the largest, if not the biggest, state-owned enterprise. And we now know how important that institution is in our economy. Look, Peter, as we speak, we are losing jobs left, right, and center. And we fear that by the time this year is out, we're going to be counting figures that we started to count when we're being visited by COVID in 2021, where we lost 2 million jobs in the economy. We can't afford that. There are already 12, 13 million people standing in the long queue of unemployment in the country. And there's already a big number, about 74% of the youth below the age of 25 who are unemployed, 66% around there for the entirety of the youth, and around 50% of black people are unemployed. Just over 50% of black women are unemployed in this country. The consequences of ministers using Eskom as a feeding trough, as alleged by the group chief executive officer, is big, Chief. This is absolutely a massive statement that has been made by him. And he himself correctly points out that these people are involved in acts of treason. It is treasonous to keep a country deliberately because you want to eat small nonsense, and then keep us 6, 8 hours, 10 hours in load shedding, to the point that workers get turned back when they arrive at work. They can't get into the lifts, and the air conditioners are not working, and the small, medium, macro enterprises have no generators, and the workers are being forced to work short time, and they don't get remunerated at the end of the month. Suddenly they find themselves that they are earning half of what they used to earn. This is treason. And that's why we're taking this matter so seriously. But we want the raters to come forward, give us information, Chief, if you are speaking the truth, come forward with affidavits and go to the police station. We will be clapping hands and singing hallelujah to you. But if you are lying, then you must also face the consequences of misleading the country and setting us into such a panic that our future is being taken away from us literally in broad light. If that 1 billion rand is disappearing a month, wow, that's massive, Chief. That's big, Peter. And the man must come forward and say, I know, as a matter of fact, that Minister so-and-so or bureaucrat so-and-so are the ones responsible for looting 1 billion rands every month from Eskom.
Mr. Vavi, we'll have to leave it there for tonight. Thank you very much indeed for sharing your thoughts with us tonight.
Thank you very much, Peter.
Thank you. Good night. All right, that's the General Secretary of the South African Federation of Trade Unions at Saftu, Zwelinzima Vavi, saying that they've given Andre de Ruyter until the 3rd of February to name the minister that is potentially corrupt and give full information and disclosure to support his statements that he gave in a recent interview.